Hello, and welcome to Food in Art, a wonderful opportunity for you to get a taste of how two human concerns, nourishment and beauty, have blended together through the centuries to create masterpieces. I'm art historian Elizabeth Lev, and I hope that you'll enjoy these bite-sized pieces of fun, facts, faith, and beauty about food. Now, we've all heard of over-the-top prices for the multi-starred Michelin meals, but there's one dinner that takes the cake for the most expensive meal in all of history. The painting of the Dinner of Antony and Cleopatra by Francesco Trevisani, produced in 1702 for the Spada Gallery in Rome, was intended to join a series of other paintings celebrating famous ancient heroines. This painting shows the story recounted by Pliny the Elder, Roman historian from the 1st century AD, who tells how Antony and Cleopatra, as part of the early elements of their relationship, would flirt with each other for the most expensive and most extravagant meal they could produce. And after Mark Antony had courted Cleopatra with the banquets that were legend in ancient Rome, Cleopatra coolly informed him that she could outspend him without even trying. So, having given an appointment a few weeks hence, and Mark Antony began to wait for the glorious moment of his banquet. And when the appointed day arrived, Cleopatra served him a meal that was magnificent as always, but with no particular delicacy that stood out. And Mark Antony thought he had won the bet. But at the very end of the meal, Cleopatra had brought out two perfect pearls. As a Ptolemy, as an ancient family of Egypt, she had been given two perfectly matched pearls, pearls that were found in the Indian Ocean, the rarest and the most precious of jewels. Together with the pearls came a small ewer, and the ewer contained vinegar. The strong vinegar was poured into a goblet, and Cleopatra took one of those priceless pearls and dissolved it, stirred it up, and drank it, thereby outspending Mark Antony. The banquet, according to Pliny, had cost 100,000 sesterces, and that was the typical cost for these expensive banquets among aristocrats. The single pearl that Cleopatra had dissolved was 500,000 sesterces. And just as Cleopatra was about to take the second pearl and dissolve it into what would be the most expensive glass of wine ever, she was stopped by the referee and the dinner ended. That pearl actually survived, and after the fall of the two lovers, Emperor Augustus took it. He split it, and he hung it as earrings on the statue of Venus in his Victory Temple. So we're looking at this scene which Trevisani paints, and Trevisani painting in the 18th century, he has the whole body of still life painting behind him. And so we see a particular attention for the beautiful Venetian glass and this high candlesticks. We see the gold and silver smithery that takes place in the various ewers and plates. But at the table itself, there's really nothing more than just a simple loaf of bread or a little focaccia, as we say in Italian. And so this simple meal contrasted with the expense of the pearl and the figure reaching across the table to try to stop this luxury. That's where we understand the meaning of an image of this sort. The point of a picture like this was about reckless spending and absurd expenditure on meals as the poor went hungry, something that was happening more and more in the late 17th and the early 18th century. And the Spada family, as a kind of personal monition, put this painting up as a reminder that excesses bring disaster. Even the little jester playing with the dog in the foreground is a reminder of this. The jester, the fool who follows the fads and the whims of the court, being pulled back by the faithful dog, the dog who wants to bring us back to good sense and reality.